This is Envision Self-Healing Podcast, episode number 20. Hi, I'm Will Fuller.
And I'm Richard Miller.
And we are the co-creators of EnvisionSelfHealing.com and are dedicated in helping you improve your eyesight and quality of life
by taking healing into your own hands. This week's topic is Eye Exercise Express, a quick start guide to improving your eyesight. And instead of the question of the week this week, we're going to be reading some vision improvement success stories from people in our audience.
So Richard, how's the world of self-healing treating you this week?
Well, as I said last week, I got the incentive to up my aerobic exercise.
Oh yeah, after the glaucoma
scare, I guess, from the optometrist, yes, at UC Berkeley.
Oh, see, I was thinking more of the positive side that we found out about the lady in Brazil that
there you go,
improved her glaucoma.
Yeah, I got it from both ends. I got
you're right. Painful.
I got a positive feedback. You're right, in Brazil. And like me, I focused on the negative part. And then I got the negative, the UC Berkeley optometrist warning me about that I would be more susceptible to glaucoma.
Okay.
Both of which would encourage me to keep the blood flow going to my optic nerve and the optic disc, where glaucoma would manifest first. So anyway, I did start going to the gym every day. So I've been going to the gym. And I'm ramping up slowly. I'm not like going out and doing spin classes yet, but maybe that'll be later. So.
Well, we all know that that's the best way. I mean, the amount of times I've coached people and they've not exercised for like 6 months, and they jump in and they start hitting big weights and they start doing spin class, they get injured in a week.
Yeah,
and then they can't do anything for 6 months.
Right. So that's what I'm doing. And I did figure out a way to do shifting. This was kind of fun. Well, on the on the recumbent bicycle at the gym. So for me, seeing...
I hope it doesn't involve the ladies in the gym.
Well, no, that was part of the shifting. Is this
why they cancelled your membership?
No, there is that kind of shifting, but I've always been doing that kind of shifting. So, no, it's that with my vision, I can sit on the recumbent bicycle in particular, and I can almost read the letters on the readout. Not quite. And then the recumbent bicycle has these little has a little track in an LED form. It's basically LEDs in a shape of a track. Okay. And as you progress through the program, it lights up a new light every 1 second or something like that. So I found myself trying to really focus on each dot as it appeared on this track, as the LED appeared. And each time it goes around, they disappear and then they start over again. So it was a very good exercise in shifting and fixating.
So did you move from each LED to each LED, or you were watching each one come and go, or?
Right. They come on. And then the next one in line comes on a second later, and the next one in line comes on. So it's actually you're just following the lights as they turn on.
And I suppose that's also good for your blind spots as well, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, if I could do that, you're right, I could do obstruction and do that as well. That would be good. Maybe do that next.
Find out next week if Richard gets his membership back in his gym, wearing obstruction glasses while he's working out.
And I can barely read the numbers, too. So that's another challenge for me. Is can I read the numbers? Okay. It's shifting because it's right outside of my ability to read. So
that's also a good gauge. Over the next few months, you can see if you're able to start to read that text easier.
Exactly, yeah.
Interesting.
So that was my accomplishment this week anyway.
Well, I've been doing a little bit of discovery as well this week, trying to work a little bit more with my peripheral exercises. You remember last week I said about how I'm doing the peripheral juggling.
Right.
And I thought it was quite interesting because I was trying to do it right in the area that is most difficult for me to see, which is sort of more in my paramacular, which is...
right.
How would you describe that?
It's a donut-shaped blind spot that's in between the central vision and the peripheral vision.
Perfect.
There you go.
So that would obviously be the best place for me to work. But you need to remember with vision improvement that we want to try and strengthen what we at least have. So when I found, it was really interesting that in my extreme periphery, like all the way out opposite of my two ears, that I could see my hands clearer than when they were in that donut shape.
Okay.
Even though that extreme periphery is something that I use, rarely. I wouldn't consider myself necessarily having much connection there.
Right.
So I actually found it was easier for me to throw and catch the ball in my extreme periphery than my inner periphery.
Right.
So that's where I've decided to start from.
Sure.
Or to work with now is this outer. And I mean, in some ways it's harder because you're throwing it further and it's harder to catch.
I have to say that would be hard for me as well. So yeah, it's interesting.
So,
yeah.
But it means that, and sort of to begin with, I'll throw the ball, try and I'll just miss it completely, and then I'd sort of pick the ball up, throw it again, and then miss it again. And all these motivational songs pop into mind of keep going and keep going. Anyway, after a little bit of time, if I sort of move my arms in towards me, so there's a smaller gap, but I'm still bringing my arms above my head, I sort of still throw the tennis ball from one hand to the other, but it's sort of a lot more guided. But I suppose you could call it cheating. But it means that I'm still acknowledging my hands and arms in my periphery. I'm still throwing the ball and I'm catching it. So I'm really engaging the brain with that outer periphery. And I notice a difference straight away. Even if I just do it for 10 minutes, then as I leave the room, I notice that I'm trying to take in more of my periphery, whether it's a door or a plant or whatever it is that I'm walking. I certainly notice a bit more improvement. So I'm pretty excited about that exercise. And I also found that I'm more likely to want to do it because it's a bit more active and I sort of just do it as a break from the computer. So I'll sort of have to keep you guys posted on that one. It's a new exercise. I've never done it before, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, it makes some sense that you would engage this extreme outer periphery that you can have a little more engagement with, more connection to. And then if you have kind of the central vision and this extreme periphery, in some ways, maybe you can sort of bridge the gap there slowly.
Yeah, that's what I thought. If you can encourage the outer periphery, then at least the brain is sort of trying to use between the two, and maybe the inner periphery is going to start to become more active just because it's in that area.
Yeah. It's a good idea. Of course, nobody would ever think of this stuff because no one's trying the kind of things you're doing except a few people in the world. So
it's exciting. I think a big part of it came from in Brazil. I think one of the big things we learned is that instead of trying to make people that are trying to do vision improvement something that's an impossible task, you work with what you have and try and strengthen that. And then you go from there instead of just, I can't see in this blind spot, I'm going to try and see in it now.
Right.
And then in a month's time, this doesn't work because I still can't see in it.
Right.
It's really sort of taking it step by step, almost from the beginning again.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, I think it's a good time to move on to topic of the week.
And the topic of the week this week is Eye Exercise Express, a quick start guide to improving your eyesight.
Now, this might seem like a bit of a funny topic to our listeners, but there's a good reason why we've named this, and this is because it's something that we've been working on for the last few months, isn't it? Really, we've been trying to think of a way of how we can start getting the exercises that we're doing and all the good work that we're noticing with our eye clients out to the general public and trying to get as many people as possible seeing all the good work that we're doing here in San Francisco and all the good feedback that we're getting back from all the people around the world, how they're doing these exercises and they're seeing improvement.
Yeah, and that was the basis of our website, is we were doing work here in San Francisco and we decided to do a website so that more people and basically everyone throughout the world could be attempting to do vision improvement, attempting to do self-healing on their vision problems.
I mean, it's really something that's, driven both of us because we both grew up not knowing about eye exercises. Right. We both had these conditions from a young age. And I guess, in the first part for me, it was almost the frustration that drove me to want to get this out there. The thought of millions of people out there now, being told by their doctors, I'm sorry, there's nothing you can do. Go home, deal with it. That drives me crazy.
Right.
I mean, they don't necessarily have to believe in the exercises, but they could at least say, there's nothing we can do, but do some research yourself. There is natural vision improvement. Give these eye exercises a go. Or at least maybe they could even study it themselves.
Yeah, that would be nice.
And then, say that we've not done much research into this, but here's some eye exercises that you could try. Go find a vision therapist, and maybe something science might come up with something in a couple of years' time.
Right. And I think our most gratifying moments since doing the website, as in particular, I think for you finding people with RP that you've been able to help through the website, and for me, some optic atrophy people as well. So
yeah, it's really sort of close to our hearts, I guess, when we get people with our own conditions. I mean, obviously, we enjoy getting information with people with, myopia and glaucoma and macular degeneration, all these people that are improving their eyesight. But of course, when I get emails through from people with RP that have been doing the exercises by themselves and they've been seeing results, I mean,
it makes it all worthwhile, doesn't it?
That's the reason why we were here, and I guess that's why we spent so long creating the website the way it was.
Yeah,
with so much information on it, so that so many people could just tune into the website and just get the information, and why it's so important that we keep doing these podcasts and our YouTube videos, because it's all about just trying to get that information out there so that people can start doing these exercises. And we're pretty confident that if people do the exercises on a regular basis, then they're going to see improvements.
Right, and that gets back to the problem then that we've hit with our clients, and probably with the people out there viewing our website as well, is the problems we've uncovered are basically motivation and time to do the exercises regularly. That's their main issues. We actually did a survey on this as well, and that's what people told us in the survey too. Yeah,
we were very lucky that our subscription, those that have signed up for our ebook and that also get our newsletter, that we sent out a survey to them, and it was great that we got some fantastic response from all the people. You could really tell that people really want to progress with their eye exercises. They want these exercises to work. They want their vision to improve. But it was really interesting to see the feedback that the two main barriers from them, and also from, our own personal experience and also from our clients, that motivation and time really is the two biggest barriers that they're trying to face to why they're not doing the exercises and therefore not seeing improvement.
Yeah. And another thing on that survey was they wanted to know that the exercises would work for them, which is another motivation issue. It's like, why would I do these if I didn't know they were going to work?
So we took these two main issues and really wanted to start tackling them head on. Just the two of us trying to think our way around this. How can we start getting people doing their eye exercises? Because we know once people start doing them and they see the improvements, then they're just going to continue doing them.
Right. So we created this audio tour of eye exercises, spent a lot of time on it, creating these recordings, in which we took you step by step through the eye exercises, like we were there standing next to you, coaching you through the eye exercises. The idea was you could then put these on your computer or your phone or an MP3 player and just sort of plug into the player and play the exercises and do them as we were sort of coaching you through them. And the other thing we added in there was a tour of the anatomy of the eye and explaining why the eye exercises work scientifically or anatomically, to get over the doubt that the exercises would work. Eventually, your eyes will improve, and that'll be your motivation. But we wanted to give you that reasons for doing the eye exercises that would sort of quiet your mind from doubting that they were going to work.
Yeah, we really wanted to sort of be able to have us as vision improvement coaches, and just to think, how could we give this to people without them having to take the time to have sessions with us?
Right.
Because very few people can take the time out to have those sessions. Even less people can come to San Francisco and work with us. And then it's also something that people just don't necessarily have that time to take an hour or two out of their day and do that. So we wanted to think of a way of putting us as coaches where you can just take us anywhere. Right. I'm a little bit heavy. Richard's a little bit heavier than I am. It's a bit of a strain to carry us around all the time.
Right.
And probably a little bit annoying as well, I could imagine, the two of us there.
Yeah.
So we wanted to think, how could we do this? And of course, being here in San Francisco, it's all about the latest technology. So we've managed to, with our iPhones and MP3 players and all the rest of it, we wanted to sort of be able to allow you to just have the convenience of doing the eye exercises wherever you were, and be able to have the science behind it as well, and be able to justify why you're doing it, instead of you're just doing it, on a hope or a whim.
Right. So when we were done with all this recording, we basically had, 35 tracks, essentially, 22 eye exercises, and then some more, 10 tracks, 12 tracks of explanation of the anatomy of the eye and why it worked. Yeah. We're actually very proud of this material.
Yeah. Well, I still am.
Yeah, I know. And it may come out in another time. Yeah. But
I'm thinking, it was important that we want to cover everything, right? Because this is such a legitimate method. There's no reason why anyone should question whether this works or not. So, of course, we know, and everybody listening knows our learn, create, integrate approach. So the more learning you can do, the more knowledge we can get across to you, then the more chance that you're going to be successful with this practice.
We're already probably getting to the punchline, but what we did next was we sent it out to some beta testers that we had lined up. And we said, okay, here's your 35 tracks. Give us your feedback. And we heard a great silence. Because guess what? They didn't have time to listen to 35 tracks right then, at least. They probably would have gotten around to it.
Well, they listened to one or two.
Right.
And they were disappointed. They wanted to listen to them.
They did want to listen to them, yeah.
But we gave them 2 or 3 weeks, and we said, just get back to us with the feedback. And 1 or 2 weeks were going by, and we weren't necessarily hearing anything. And I thought, oh no.
Yeah, but it's not like they didn't like it. They just didn't have the time at that point. So we were about ready to release that product, and we basically went back to the drawing board at that point.
Yeah,
and tried to strip it down basically to the essentials.
Yeah, we sort of had to come to terms, really, that not everybody wants to be like us and have all this vast information. Even though our hope is that over time people will gain that, but some people really just want to do the eye exercises, try and see the benefits, and then move on with their life and not necessarily have the whole world surround vision, I guess.
Yeah.
Strange people. I can't understand.
I don't understand them either. So we created what we are now calling the Eye Exercise Express, a quick start guide to improving your eyesight. And it is now 11 exercises instead of 22.
We wanted to just sort of strip it down as much as we could to sort of just the essential eye exercises. We just sort of had to say, okay, the previous guide was more about giving you enough exercises that you can choose which ones you preferred. I really like that idea still.
I do too.
But for this one, it was sort of, some people actually just want to be told this is the eye exercise you should do to help this
condition, yeah,
and just do it every day, X, Y, Z, and the people, and people just don't have to think about it, and they can just do it.
Well, and I think we realized that some people are new to eye exercises, and they might have even a serious condition, but they're still like, well, are they really going to work? And this gives them a chance to actually try out our exercises in a simplistic way and see that they work.
Yeah, it's almost people are scared to dedicate time, and I guess it's understandable. I mean, it's different for us. This has been our world now for so many years, and we've spent time with so many people that have improved their eyesight naturally that, there's no doubt for us. But I can understand if when you first find out about this, it's like, what? Vision can improve naturally? I've never heard that before. And then you go to your eye doctor and he says, oh, don't listen to it. It's just a scam. And then, of course, why would you want to go and, listen to 6 hours, of a guided audio tour on how to improve eyesight? Well, I suppose for me, I would rather do that. But I suppose if you really just want to give eye exercise a go, see whether this is going to work for you. Can I fit these eye exercises into my lifestyle like these guys are talking about? And can I improve my eyesight? Then we really wanted to give you guys that opportunity to do that.
And we call it the Quick Start Guide because it is kind of like a computer quick start guide. It's like, it's not the manual, it's the quick start guide, and this will get you going on eye exercises.
Sort of like when you buy a new DVD player and you've got the quick start guide,
exactly,
which is just 4 or 5 steps with nice big pictures,
right?
And then the rest of it is all in Chinese or Japanese.
Wait, it's not that bad.
You can't understand. No, the rest of it. So, but the quick start guide is is that first part of the manual,
right?
Where it's, these are the eye exercises you should do in order to improve this.
And you can start watching movies now if you do these 4 steps.
Yeah. Yeah, but literally, because your vision will be better.
Exactly.
Not wanting to confuse the two. The
analogies there, yes.
So we also needed a way of tackling the time management. And obviously this is very difficult for us because we're not there to force you to do the eye exercises. And it's also very...
with a whip or something.
Yeah,
right?
the offer you can't refuse, Godfather style. We can't do that, unfortunately.
No.
Unless you come to San Francisco. So we needed to think of a way of how can we encourage people to work this into their lifestyle and actually realistically start doing these eye exercises instead of putting them off all the time.
Right. Take away any obstacles, basically, to doing them.
So one thing that we did in our survey, and also over the last few months, we've been talking with our clients, other vision improvement specialists, and also doing some observation works of ourselves, we found that 10 minutes is actually a really good time where it's just enough to get the improvement from the exercise, but it's a short enough time so that you can actually fit the exercise into your daily life and actually perform it.
Yeah, there's often 10 minutes sort of empty spaces in your day that you can fit an exercise into. So
yeah, a good example, I suppose, is last week's podcast where I went running for the bus.
Right.
And missed it. And this week I caught the same, but I didn't even bother running. I didn't even bother checking when it was turning up. I thought I'm just going to walk there and just do distance looking this time. I didn't want to exhaust myself.
Yeah.
So certainly 10 minutes is a great time for you to be able to get the benefits. And it's also something that everybody seems to be saying how much they're spending on each exercise as they do them.
Right. That's about 10 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes just seems a little too short.
Mm-hmm.
And 15, 20 feels like a bit of starting to feel like a burden. So
especially when you need to combine the exercises.
Right.
Because they all have their own individual benefits. So it's not even just so much about doing one eye exercise for 10 minutes. It's when you start combining them. You know, we start giving these eye exercises out. Yeah. And we're down to the 6th or 7th eye exercise, and our clients will go, well, hold on a minute.
At 20 minutes apiece, yes.
Yeah, where am I going to... I'm just going to have to sell my house and
all right, quit my job. And
just move to Golden Gate Park and do eye exercises for the rest of my life.
Which was what you should do, but anyway.
So we really wanted to figure this out, so we thought if we could precisely time the eye exercises to 10 minutes, then that way it's sort of set for you, really.
Yeah, and the other thing we did, learning from our experience from the audio tour, is we wanted to still give you the reasons for doing the eye exercises. So we accepted the challenge of both guiding you through the eye exercises and explaining why you're doing them, all in that 10-minute span.
And just in case you're worried, we've not done high-speed dubbing. We don't sound like chipmunks saying, and this exercise we're going to do about. We didn't try and talk really fast. We did actually sit down for several days and really try and plan out how we can deliver a 10-minute eye exercise, give the instructions nice and clearly so that everybody can understand it, but at the same time explain why the exercise is helping to benefit you.
Yeah.
So it's really that sort of the two things of motivation, because we know from experience that if people understand why the eye exercises help, then they've got more chance of continuing to do it. It's just the same as eating healthy. I mean, why would you bother eating healthy if you didn't think it was any good for you, you didn't feel the benefits?
Yeah.
So it also helps with the time management because we've got that 10-minute allotted space. And it's also, I find that when Richard and I have been testing this out for the last few weeks, and I find that I'm more likely to do it because I know it's going to be precisely 10 minutes.
Right.
Because I know sometimes I start doing an exercise and then 15 minutes, 20 minutes go by. And then I think, what have I done for the last half an hour?
Right.
So I know now that, if I'm working at the computer and I think, okay, I really should just stop and palm. Mm-hmm. And I think, okay, I just press play and the track plays out. And then I just carry on with whatever I was doing afterwards. It was almost as if I didn't even do the eye exercise in the first place. Yeah,
and in your example from last week, if you missed the bus, you've got your iPhone, you just plug into your iPhone, push play, and you're doing an eye exercise. So.
And I even found, for me, it was difficult. I was tempted to write a text message, write an email,
right?
Or, check what's going on with the website. But I managed to say to myself, no, I'm going to take the 10 minutes out and I'm going to do this thing. And I just think it would be a lot easier if you almost had that personal coach with you, encouraging you, where, you could just press play and there's somebody there that's helping you with the eye exercise.
Right. So a final time management issue we wanted to deal with was which exercises should eye do, or which exercises should you guys do?
And we tried really hard with this, with the website, didn't we? It took, we spent, 10 months writing that site and all the literature on it. Mm-hmm. And we really could have done a massive list of all those exercises. And it's difficult to try and say which ones to do and which ones not to do, because they all have their individual benefits.
Right. But there are certain exercises. Once we reduced it to the 11 essential exercises, we then could say, for this condition, you should do... And we reduced it down to 4 exercises per condition. I
think that's certainly the minimum that you want to be doing in order to get the benefits. When you look at the exercises with an understanding of what they do for you and for your condition, then really those 4 eye exercises are sort of minimum to get a nice rounded eye exercise routine, so that you can see the benefits from doing the eye exercises instead of just doing one. And then wondering in a couple of months' time why you've not seen improvements.
Right. So that's what this quick reference chart is. It's a list of vision conditions like glaucoma, cataracts, nearsightedness, things like that. And then for each condition, we've picked out 4 of the 11 essential exercises and given you a list of what to do.
So what we found that was so genius about this is not that we've just stripped it down to those 4 main exercises, so you're going to start getting improvement from the minimum amount of exercises and the minimum amount of time that you're doing. But it also means the way that we've structured it so that the eye exercises are recorded independently and they're timed 10 minutes within themselves, you don't have to do the full 40 minutes all in one time.
Right.
So I know certainly sometimes I think, I don't have time just to do all my eye exercises now. I might have 10 or 20 minutes, but I don't have time for the full 40. And certainly that's a lot of feedback that we've been getting from a lot of people, is they can't just take that chunk out of their day.
I just realized this would be really cool at the gym if I could do 10 minutes of chest presses and then do some stuff in the day and then do 10 minutes of leg presses or something like that. It's kind of what we're doing, is actually subdividing their gym routine into 10 minutes slices.
Yeah, well, don't give too much away. Maybe we're in a couple of years' time.
We'll do that.
If you just see people squatting, walking around the street, you'll know why.
Doing push-ups on the sidewalk, yeah.
So, but because it's with you on your phone, MP3 player, or on your computer throughout most of the day, it means that you can just press play and you've got that 10-minute eye exercise or 20 minutes right there with you, and you can just perform it straight away. So it means that you don't have to worry about taking that 40-minute chunk away from your day, and it means you can just do your eye exercises periodically so that you can still get the improvement from the eye exercises.
And because you have them on your phone or your MP3 player, potentially you have them walking around with you, so if you're waiting for a bus and you have 10 minutes to wait, you can just press play at that point.
Yeah, or even if you're sitting in the office and you've got that 10-minute break, you want to walk into the canteen or whatever room they give you in the office, and you can just look out the window, press play on the distance-looking exercise, and just start gazing out. And as we guide you through the exercise, you're doing it, and you're just standing there and hanging out and taking a break from your work.
That's how much better that is than looking at the scuzzy Mr. Coffee Maker in your office.
So we want to give you a little bit more information on what the guide is actually going to include. And they really are the 11 most essential exercises. We've just got in there palming, sunning, distance looking, the astigmatism exercise, shifting, the presbyopia charts, near and far, obstruction, peripheral vision exercise, some self-massage, and also eye rotations. So we really just stripped down all the key exercises there that we feel that you need for good vision improvement and that will help the particular conditions.
Yeah, and why don't you read off the conditions as well, because we did want to have an exercise routine that was appropriate for all these conditions.
So also in the quick start guide, you'll see that there's a list of conditions that we have, and we've sort of gone for the most common ones and the ones that we get the most emails about, and also most of our clients. So the conditions are nearsighted or myopia, farsightedness, hyperopia, astigmatism, keratoconus, age-related farsightedness, which is presbyopia, cataracts, macular degeneration, glaucoma, double vision, otherwise known as strabismus or crossed eyes, lazy eye, which is also known as amblyopia, which is where you only see through one eye, retinitis pigmentosa, obviously, favourite one there and myself, and of course optic atrophy.
For me.
For Richard. So we've really tried to cover most bases there with conditions, and of course it doesn't mean, if we didn't list any of those conditions for you, it doesn't mean the exercises can't help. It just means that these were the most common ones. We didn't want to just have reams of bits of paper with all these different conditions on there.
Right.
So if you weren't on that condition list, then you can always just head over to our Facebook fan page and just ask us over there, and we'll let you know which 4 exercises are best for you.
So as the cherry on top of this sundae we've created for you,
with lots of chocolate and cream and...
Ooh, caramel sauce, please.
We've just made everyone hungry now.
Yeah. We are hungry at the moment. So to top it all off then, we actually recorded sounds at 2 of our favorite places to do eye exercises, the beach and the park. And we have put those in with our words to sort of soften our words and give you a feeling of being with us here in San Francisco.
Yeah, we find a lot of time when people come here as sort of vision improvement retreats and they're spending time with us, a lot of what they're soaking in is sort of the Californian atmosphere and being here in San Francisco, and you've got the ocean and Golden Gate Park, and it really sort of just promotes this feeling that you want to be active and you want to start doing the exercises.
Yeah, so we got up early and went and recorded ducks and birds and waves, and we're going to be giving them all to you in these recordings.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that, because I really think it's something that people can start to enjoy when they're listening to the exercises, and I really feel like it's going to help motivate people to want to do it. Instead of it being some boring, I've got to go do this exercise, if it's actually, heaven forbid, a pleasant experience to do your eye exercises, something that you actually enjoy doing. So we also did a little bit of research on what people, really enjoyed, and if they could do eye exercises anywhere, where would they be? So we put a little bit of research, mixed it up with our favourite places to do these eye exercises, and we've really tried to work hard to give you a pleasant, enjoyable experience for when you do these exercises and help keep you motivated as much as possible.
So we hope you're as excited about the Eye Exercise Express as we are, but it's not quite available. It's going to be available in a week. And in the next podcast, we're going to give you even more information about it and maybe address some of your questions you might have about it. So now we're going to move on to some vision improvement success stories.
So the first success story comes from Nina, who lives in Mobile, Alabama. And we're really pleased for Nina because we were quite concerned about her. She came and saw us in San Francisco for a vision retreat. We had around 5 double sessions with her, and we saw some excellent progress at that time. She went from the 2800 line to the 2100 line. So we were very pleased, but we were also somewhat concerned, weren't we?
It was a bit of a challenge because her lifestyle was sort of against everything that we would recommend. Yeah. She's a medical student and studies 14 hours a day. Reads, I don't know how many of those hours are reading, but a lot of it.
And her condition is myopia. Right. So it was, we always say with myopia, and she even has high myopia, is that you should be spending, a lot of time looking out
into
the distance. But so we gave it a 50-50. We really hope, we worked really hard, given her, just like this tour guide, we sort of did the exercises and explained why they helped, and we certainly knew that would help a little bit more with Nina because she is a medical student.
And we were looking for gaps in her day. I remember we was like, there's a gap between parking and walking to the library. There's a gap in there. We can take advantage of that.
Let's use it. So she sent us an email a few weeks ago, and we were really pleased, so we want to share it with you. And it says, even with my challenging schedule as a medical student, eye exercises have helped me tremendously to get in a little rest and relaxation for my body and mind. Palming before I sleep and when I wake up helps to calm my nervous system and put my eyes deeply to rest. You can tell she's a medical student, can't you?
Yeah.
It's like hitting the off switch on the world. So that's certainly something we always encourage with palming, that it's a good time just to relax. I'm able to let go and feel relaxed, all while rejuvenating my eyes. So I think even last week we both talked about how we palm before we went to bed in order to help our eyes.
Right.
During my break between classes, I will sometimes go outside to sun and enjoy the warmth and brightness. Just a few minutes does wonders for my mood and helps to relax my eyes, which is always at work. I highly recommend eye exercises to everyone, regardless to how busy they are. Just a few minutes a day is all you need to rejuvenate your eyes, keep them healthy, and enjoy a well-deserved rest for your mind and body. So we're really pleased when Nina sent us that. Some very encouraging words for us and for everybody else.
Well, and if Nina can do it with her schedule, basically anyone could do it. So.
Yeah, and notice how she sort of divides it up throughout her day, and she sort of tries to grab those small minutes.
Right.
And I mean, even though we've timed it to 10 minutes, if you've only got 2 lots of 5 minutes, well then, you press play, you listen to it for 5 minutes, and then
start again.
You really try and work in whatever you can, and it's really good to see that Nina is making that effort and also seeing the results from it as well.
Right.
So the second success story that we've got is when we received an email from JD, who's in San Antonio in Texas. And this was a bit of a surprise email. We had spoken to JD for a few weeks on and off there, but it was really nice to get this email. And he said, "Here is getting my vision improvement back on track news," laugh out loud. And this is a podcast that we did
last week,
a few weeks ago. And he said, "Palming and sunning exercises are great. They work to relax my eyes and to see more clearly. Every time my eyes get blurry, I do the palming exercise," which is really a perfect thing to do. We say that if you ever have this issue, that you just stop and palm.
Right. He's very new to eye exercises, but he's already figured out that when his eyes get blurry, he should palm.
My eyes get blurry because of the computer, so we're glad that he's also noticing that his eyes are natural and that they do actually get blurry depending on what he's doing. Mm-hmm. So every time I'm using the computer, TV, and spending too much time indoors. So he's really starting to build that relationship with his eyes. Right. And realize that, your eyes do get tired if you don't give them that rest. Every day I do the exercises. Number 1, palming more than once a day. Number 2, sunning. And number 3, eye muscle exercises. And after the exercises, my eyes get clearer. After a little bit of time, though, they get blurry again. So again, a lot of people miss this. They don't realize that their vision gets blurry and clear and blurry. And I suppose if you're wearing glasses all the time, it's always clear, because those glasses are forcing it to stay clear.
Yeah.
That's why I do palming more often, because there's a lot of energy in the human hands, and we get more energy from palming. If the hand chakras are active, then our energy becomes so it's all good. Laugh out loud. Thanks for helping us to improve our eyes. So a bit of added bonus there. You can see that JD is picking up on one of the extra parts of palming, which is the energy to the eyes. Yep. But it's certainly fantastic to see these people, how they're using the exercises, they're incorporating them into their lives, and they're seeing the results.
Yeah, it's great. And the two extremes, somebody who actually came and saw us and someone who just knows us through the website and very recently, and they're both doing well.
So we hope you enjoyed this week's podcast. Certainly a little bit of a different format there, but we really enjoy being able to share this extra information with you and be excited about some of the new steps that we're taking, and also some of the new steps that are becoming available to you so you can enhance your vision improvement process. You can also download your free ebook or sign up for our newsletter at our website, envisionselfhealing.com. And we're certainly going to be sending some separate information out there to our listed subscribers so that they can get all the latest information and keep up to date when our guide finally makes it to the shelf. And you can also find us through our Facebook fan page. Just look for Envision Self Healing, and you can see some pictures there on how we're getting on. And you can also get some more information and some questions that other people are leaving us and how they are trying to improve their eyesight. You can also follow Richard and I on Twitter. And if you're listening to this on iTunes, then subscribe and you'll be able to get an episode to your door every week. And you can also, if you're listening to this on YouTube, subscribe there as well. And you'll also get the video every week as we release it. You can also head over to our website, envisionselfhealing.com, and see a lot more blogs that Richard and I release on a regular basis so that we can keep you up to date on the latest information on how you can improve your eyesight. So, good luck with your eye exercises this week, and happy healing.
And have a good week.